Hello everyone! Our adventures on Kezogar and the War Within. It began with a voice ringing out across Azeroth and trying to discover what was going on. Speaker Magni seemed to be the perfect candidate to talk to the voice, to talk with Azeroth, but he was overwhelmed in the process, taken to Dalaran to heal. It's from Dalaran, where we follow Khadgar's guidance, try to locate the Dark Hearts, try to stop Xal'atath and her plans, but little did we know that Xal'atath had already infiltrated the city, disguised as Archmage Drendan. You could wonder why nobody questioned Drendan suddenly returning, but considering not even a Void prodigy like Illyria could sense her, we can write it off as a really good disguise. Eventually Magni wakes up and tells us that Azeroth had told him that we needed to go to Kezogar. Once more, Dalaran is called to the aid of our world. The beacons are lit, and the city, after preparing, teleports to Kezogar, just as Xal'atath had wanted. Her disguise falls away as Nerubian forces strike. Dalaran's defenses have been weakened from within, and despite Khadgar throwing everything at her, Xal'atath wields the Dark Heart, an artifact that sucks up magic. So there isn't much that he can do besides teleporting Illyria out of the way and go down with the city. Dalaran is destroyed, numerous casualties, and some of his people have been captured by the Nerubians. We'd later find them in Ashkahet, within the Delves, being tortured and experimented upon. Sometimes to find out what weaponry will work best, sometimes because the noises that come out of them pleases the Nerubians. We would save who we can, even save Khadgar out of the Dark Heart, but the ruins of Dalaran, the small bits and pieces that fell across the sky, it still haunts the coastline of Kezogar. Well, we have managed to gather our forces, make our allies, fight our foes, and even dispose the corrupted queen of the Nerubians, who was listening to the whispers of Xal'atath. The wounds of Dalaran still burn, especially for Ava Sunreaver. He has gone back to Dalaran's crash site, and he hasn't slept or eaten since we arrived. He wants Khadgar's help, but the old mage hasn't been able to bring himself to visit the crash site, so he asks us to go in his stead.
We all grieve Dalaran, but Aethys may need help processing its loss.
Aethys' posture is etched with exhaustion of sleepless nights and days without food. His tattered clothes hang loosely on his emaciated frame, and his every movement seems fatigued. Considering that they've described Jaina and Thrall getting reinforcements as taking like minimum of 14 days, and that we have gone through the entire campaign, which I assume took like a month or two, that's a long time to go without any food, to go without any rests. But Aethys carries on. He looks at Dalaran, once a symbol of unity and arcane mastery, but now is reduced to rubble and ash. Yet again, so much loss and so much pain. Friends and comrades gone in an instant. Their voices silenced by Xal'atath. But now is the time for action, not grief. We must regroup with the remaining Kirin Tor. We have to help Aethys with picking the right words to send a message to the surviving mages. After that, we gather some reagents so he can put up an arcane barrier, keep us safe from any potential magical radiation that might still linger.
Place the wards on the ground, champion. I will channel the barrier. To me, it seems the Kirin Tor continue to make the same mistakes. If fate has brought Dalaran low twice, maybe it should not be rebuilt. For all the ground we gain, we lose people and history. Now, champion, use the Frostfire Essence to seal the barrier. That will do. I think I may need a moment to catch my breath.
It almost looks like it might just be the two of us that is gonna do the rebuilding and cleaning up the crash sites. But then the blue dragon aspect of magic flies in.
I doubt if we can do all of this alone. What? What is that on the horizon?
You are not alone, friends.
Kalecgos! You got my message!
Kalecgos was already on his way after hearing about Dalaran's demise. But apparently, we weren't easy to reach. All the arcane energy that's being ceaselessly released from Dalaran's ruins, it must interfere with long-range teleportation spells, or so the aspect of magic believes.
We will be back, and we will be ready.
Either way, A great help has arrived to get some sort of outpost going.
I can definitely help with that. Here, take this bag and start setting up camp. Now, excuse me. I need a moment with Athos. Athos. I brought mana potions, but it's obvious what you really need is rest.
Rest? No. I am afraid to close my eyes, Kalecgos.
In his attempts to find us, Caelix circled the islands many times. During his flight, he sensed the magic of many familiar items that were formerly housed within Ohn'aahren. These items are dangerous and taken by the kobolds at morning rise.
I'll meet you at morning rise, champion. I need to.
Kalecgos, go. I will be fine.
Maybe, but I am not leaving that to chance. Let's go, champion.
Just like a dragon. Stubborn and a show-off.
We reclaim what was stolen and come across the necklace that once belonged to Kel'Thuzad. You know him best as the Lich, servant of Arthas the Lich King, but actually the jailer. Once he was a mage, a member of the Council of Six at Kirin Tor. Until they uncovered his gruesome experiments into necromancy, they froze his holdings and kicked him out of their city. But by that point, the mage was far too gone. He was listening to the whispers of Ner'zhul that were going to guide him to Naxxramas and the cold, frozen throne. His necklace is cursed, and it takes us inside, face to face with somewhat of an echo, a simulacrum in the necklace, which is still in his human form, as we try to explain that we ended up here by mistake and would very much like to leave.
A mistake? Is that not what the Kirin Tor is now? Bumbling mages making mistakes and meddling in what they understand not. They mistake cowardice for morality and wisdom for mediocrity. True power can only come from sacrifice, from setting aside taboos and fear, and venturing into the unknown. So do not speak to me of mistakes. The Kirin Tor is the mistake. I have chosen my path, one of learning and discovery. I will not be hindered by the short-sightedness of those who cling to the illusion of right and wrong. Now go, before I find use for you in one of my experiments.
Kel'Thuzad is an example of what can happen when magic is used without regard or ethics or regulation. To Caelix, this underlines the importance of the Kirin Tor. But, on the other hand, Kel'Thuzad was Kirin Tor. It's also a reminder of how power corrupts.
Follow. Our brush with Kel'Thuzad underscores my greatest fears about the Kirin Tor. We need to regroup. Have you spoken to Athos at the outpost?
Not yet. I thought I was ready to see Dalaran's ruins again, but I arrived and just froze.
That's understandable. Come, we'll go together.
Back at base, we help other mages out of their portals as Caelix's hypothesis, it proves to be true.
Thanks. I saw the letter. I'm here to help.
Thank you. I do not know what would have happened when I ran out of mana.
Grief heals slowly, Athos. Be patient, and more will answer your missives in time.
A few mages have come now, but they expected more to act on Athos' call to action. We're gonna need more help, and we also get more powerful artifacts to deal with, as they've made their way into the hands of the Nerubians, all the way in Ashkahet.
Champion, come with me. We will deal with the Nerubians ourselves.
And as quickly as she arrived, she is gone.
Don't be so hard on her, Athos. She's not taking this as well as it would appear.
I know. I just was hoping to get her help with arrangements. since she had been here when Dalaran fell.
Ah, I see. Well, maybe I can help. Have you ever heard of a Tuskarr chieftain named Panoliak?
A mana bomb. This is a worst-case scenario, and we only have ourselves to blame.
In hindsight, perhaps storing all these powerful artifacts, detailed instructions as to how to turn said artifacts into weapons of mass destruction, it might not have been the greatest idea, cause here we are, an active mana bomb situation. Let's not have another Fairmore on our hands and disarm the bomb.
The Alliance will disentangle the bomb's power sources while I suppress it. We cannot allow the mana bomb to detonate. Now, champion, realign the mana bomb's matrix. We have averted a great catastrophe, champion.
Then we grab some other powerful artifacts, those Songweaver notes, Medivh's Karazhan schematics, and Archmage Antonius' book. Some of the relics the Nerubians now possess were housed in carefully designed containment vaults in Dalaran. That's how dangerous and powerful they are. With those vaults gone, the only course of action that we can take is to destroy them.
This bomb should not have been built. Kirin Tor leadership is to blame, but we are all complicit and must atone for it. I will dispose of the bomb, destroy the other artifacts, and meet me in the Tranquil Strand. More mages have arrived in our absence, champion. That is heartening to see.
Not all of the Kirin Tor's issues can be solved in one day, but one way that we can act is to honor those that have fallen. They've cobbled together a ceremony to send off those that we have lost, and Dalaran were asked to place Kel'Thuzad's emerald necklace, Talon's Songweaver's notes, and shattered Dalaran's crystals with the other relics that are placed within the boats.
We must acknowledge our past errors and correct our course.
As we send them off, we let go of the past to face the future and become stronger.
No matter how painful, we must embrace change as we honor those we have lost. Xal'atath left this.
So, what now?
We rebuild, but not just brick and mortar. We need changes to our foundation, to us.
Agreed. We must move forward with intention and learn from the mistakes we were too prideful to before.
I admit I was blinded by the ivory towers of Dalaran. I believe that Kirin Tor's wisdom was nigh infallible.
Let us pledge, then, that the new Kirin Tor will be different. No more consuls, no more floating cities, and no more meddling in world affairs.
Then we are all in agreement. We will start anew. For the Kirin Tor. For all of us.
Good. Because this old man is tired. I will go to Donegal to rest, and then start rebuilding the connections we have lost.
Are you going to stay, Kalecgos?
The Dragon Isles can endure a little longer without me. We have much work to do.
More mages are arriving to lend their strength. We need to start planning how we want to spend our resources.
Jaina, I thought you were staying to help in the Tranquil Strand.
I was, but We should speak about the future of the Kirin Tor, sooner rather than later.
I'm afraid the news from the outside is bleak. We lost all but a few after amassing at Ohn'aahren.
Then, our new Kirin Tor is over before it began.
No. The mages who have answered the call. We have an opportunity. No consul, no rank.
Like starting over. Returning to study and research? But we have a duty to protect the Alliance, and Azeroth.
We can still fulfill that mission by investigating, training, advising.
It would keep us mobile and decentralized. A tragedy like Ohn'aahren would not happen again.
Safety is a benefit, yes.
Study and passing on my knowledge appeals to me. But I have to think about the ramifications of such a drastic change.
And that is why it should be you who starts putting the pieces back together.
Khadgar.
I need rest, Jaina. But I promise I won't stay away for long.
Meryl can assist me. Aethys should have a key role as well. I will go back and speak to them.
Thank you, Jaina. And good luck.
And that's where we leave the story for now, with the future of the Kirin Tor not set in stone quite yet. We do read bits and pieces about how in the future the Kirin Tor must find a better way to study and safeguard magical artifacts. One thing Khadgar is sure of is that the Kirin Tor's future is not another floating fortress in the sky. No, whatever the path the Kirin Tor chooses, it will be firmly rooted here, on Azeroth, among the people it serves. I'm really curious to see what the future is going to bring and what the writing team is going to put down moving forwards. The ideas and dilemmas presented during this questline, they're really interesting, but I'm curious what ideas they have ready to replace the Ohn'aahren that came before. Kalecgos and Kel'Thuzad bits, it shows that power corrupts and darkness has grown amongst the ranks of the Kirin Tor. But I wonder what this new system could possibly do better than what they already did. They quickly kicked Kel'Thuzad out when his darker urges came forward and were exposed. What more could they have done? And if there had not been a Kirin Tor to nurture and practice and train these mages, would that not just mean that Kel'Thuzad would have been left to his own devices, find his own way into necromancy, without the oversight of the Kirin Tor? What is this reorganization going to implement to prevent a Kel'Thuzad from happening again? Is that even possible when we know that power corrupts? Are they going to give up on power altogether? Curious to see. Similarly, they bring up the topic of storing powerful artifacts into one place and how that could potentially be dangerous, which is true. But then we have seen examples of the alternative going wrong. For example, the Pillars of Creation that we gathered during Legion. They were kept safe and centralized under Ohn'aaren's protection until we used them to seal off the gate at the Tomb of Sargeras. There, the Tidestone got stolen by the Naga and used to open up the way into Nashatar, or a Kalecgos and the Focusing Iris. This powerful artifact was once held at the Nexus, the base of operations for the Blue Dragonflight. While trying to hide it from the world, it was actually taken by the Horde and then turned into that mana bomb. Kalik then decided that once they recovered the Iris, it should be kept at Ohn'aahren as that was the safest option. The aspect of magic could think of no safer place to store it than within Ohn'aahren, so I'm curious what new, better ideas they have in mind for artifacts in the future. Khadgar says that Ohn'aahren should be amongst the people it serves, and he says that they should no longer meddle in world affairs. They need changes to their foundation, to which Jaina adds that they should learn from their mistakes going forwards. No more floating fortress, and on the one hand, you can look around at the devastation and come to the conclusion that Ohn'aahren, it has painted a big target on itself. Yet, I'm curious what mistake Ohn'aahren has made, which resulted in this destruction. You know, besides letting Drendon back in, who proved to be Zolotov. All Ohn'aahren has really done is been answering the call of Azeroth. Follow her voice, exactly as we have been doing, exactly as we are doing still. Are we making a mistake in doing so? Ohn'aahren has become such a prime target because it proved time and again to be a powerful, functional defense of Azeroth. that the bad guys wanted to take out. Just imagine if they'd come to the same conclusion after our command destroyed Gul'dan back in Warcraft 3. We would not have had their support during the Nexus War in Northrend. There would have been no leadership in taking on Yogg-Saron, no citadel to fight from during the Expansion Legion. What are gonna do when Azeroth gets in trouble again? What is the role and the future for the Kirin Tor going to be going forwards? And how will their leadership structure be set up? They're not going to go with a council, there's not going to be ranks, yet they will have multiple people bringing the Kirin Tor back together. And they don't mention how that leadership is going to play out. Is Dalaran just going to have everybody have a voice? Is only one person going to take charge? Time is going to tell. And time will also tell why Khadgar believed Jaina to be the best to put the pieces back together. From all the candidates, she is to be the one to lead this reformation. And how is she possibly going to navigate this political minefield? Jaina Proudmoore has a long history with the Kirin Tor and Dalaran, including a history in which she purged the city, imprisoned and killed those that had lived with them within the city after she was betrayed, and then she abandoned the Kirin Tor because she refused to work with the Hordes. Thankfully, at the time, Khadgar stepped up, and under his leadership, we saved the world from the Legion. Who knows how that would have played out if Jaina had been kept in charge? How is she going to bring a new Kirin Tor together when that is part of her history? And currently, she already has a strong leadership role amongst the Alliance as Lord Admiral of Kothiris, an alliance she reaffirms should be protected, just like Azeroth. So, is the vision that the Kirin Tor is going to do, is that going to be an old school and focus primarily on the Alliance? How does that work with an Aphis on board? An Aphis who also has a colored history with being forced to betray the Kirin Tor and use his resources for the War Chief. How come these are some of the best choices to lay the foundation of a new Kirin Tor? Well, there's also people out there like Archmage Modera. Not to mention that we also have no idea what a Varisa Windrunner thinks about all of this. I'm curious what the writing team is envisioning with picking these characters. Now, I did very much enjoy the story. I enjoyed the emotional farewell and taking the time to say goodbye to Dalaran and then arrive at a spot where something new might rise up. I would love if the schematics of Medivh could lead us back to Karazhan, where a newly formed Kirin Tor could set up part of the faction. Maybe they could also hang out at the Nexus or any of the other potent magical locations, then set up a teleportation network so they can help out across the worlds. Perhaps we could form different divisions within the faction itself. You could have some that are more focused on the study and research, whereas others that would be more interested in application into combat. There could be an interesting future waiting for them, but only time is going to tell. And by all means, let me know what you think about the questline in the comments down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching, everyone. Subscribe if you like my videos. Leave a like if you know this one. And until next time, see ya!